Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. This is a weekly show where brands watch other brands' ads.
Nowadays, marketing is not so much about branding, but actually adding value to our people.
Hey guys, we're not some big scary beast here. We know a lot about you, but we're using it to your advantage here.
My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and thanks as ever to our partners Contagious who've helped source the ad this week. But before we get to this ad, let's meet this week's guests.
It's good to be here. Thanks, Tom, for the invitation. I have a couple of years of experience in big companies like Coke, Unilever, and Netflix in the marketing side. Formerly be the Vice President of Marketing for Mexico.
Hi, my name's Henry Brown. I have done nearly 9 years in beer, formerly of AB InBev, and more recently, until a few weeks ago, I headed up marketing for JUBEL Beer here in the UK, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Fantastic, guys. What a panel. So let's see this week's ads.
After 2 years, the season of music festivals finally came back. But we all know this sad truth. Your favorite artist always keeps one of your favorite songs. Until now, Spotify presents Listen to Your Fans. For the most important music festival in Colombia, Stereo Picnic 2022, we took the setlist FM data from the last concerts of the artists, and we crossed with their fans' data on our platform. That's how we identified the most streamed songs in Colombia, which also had never been played on their tours before. And we used the names and streams of these songs to send the headliners some direct messages in all those places where we knew they were going to be. From their arrival at the airport, to highways, hotels, and social media. That's how thousands of fans joined the movement by tagging and pressuring the artists of the festival. And boom, they heard us. Now fans know what they have to do to create their next set list. Listen to your fans. Spotify. Listening is everything.
Can you give your votes for this ad on a mark out of 5? 1, 2, 3. 4 and a 4, Spotify. That's a result. But what actually went on here? What was going on outside this video?
This is a very interesting way of double-clicking on what Spotify is about, both for the fans and not the fans. When I saw the first video for the first time, I was a little bit biased by the format of the presentation, sound a little bit fakey. Then a little bit later, I start saying, there's an interesting insight behind this. And I think that's the core essence of the campaign, the powerful insight.
And what do you think that insight is?
Well, I think that it all relates to the core value or the message of Spotify. They're starting to talk about listening a lot. And this is a great example of listening to the fans and listening to the artist itself.
To Pablo's point, the insight's really strong. I mean, if you just look at the insight, it rang true with me. You know, I have gone to many live gigs in the past and been frustrated that I've bought tickets a year and a half in advance. And then when I get there, that artist that I've been super excited to go and see has released a new album and played nothing that I've actually gone to see them for and been, you know, sad and slightly disappointed. And I think that reigns true. And I think, you know, if you go from a very strong insight through to execution that makes sense and stays true to what your platform does, then you've got a pretty good recipe for success. And I think that's what this ad's doing here.
I don't know what the marketing insight is here. What is the insight that the product solves?
I will listen what you want to hear, and I will do my best and use my power of a Sabine company to influence the artist you want. And I think that's interesting. If I may, I would say that it builds empathy with people. So I listen what you say, and it also builds authority because it says, I am a strong character in the music. I have the power to talk to your favorite artist, and they will listen. And I think that's beautiful.
Execution doesn't necessarily, for me anyway, have to tie 100% to the solution that that product is giving you, but it can indirectly push what the product does. So Spotify here is essentially saying, we know you and we can demonstrate this credibly to the point where we can have effect. So people will trust the platform. They will understand essentially, through the insight and the execution here, that Spotify really gets them. Almost in like a friendly capacity, they're able to turn on their head something that's quite scary, which is that they have huge amounts of data on people, and use it to their advantage by saying, hey guys, we're not some big scary beast here. We know a lot about you, but we're using it to your advantage here. We know what you listen to, we know what you like, and we can make impact from that. So Spotify is the place to be.
I get the idea. I think, wow, they are working for me. They are helping me to do that. And I think nowadays, marketing is not so much about branding, but actually adding value to our people.
The positioning of Spotify here as the helpful data lord that can move mountains for you is great, but did it work?
Yes, in terms of a very simple and powerful campaign that can travel and expand. But I wonder if it actually moved the needle to bring new users to the platform, or even upgrading to premium for somebody. That's the question mark for the campaign, at least for me.
So outside of that, Henry, what would you have changed about this?
Spotify's brand world in terms of kind of visual execution seems incredibly broad. There were like 10 to 12 different executions within the video that they showed on these billboards. And, other than basically font and pastel colors and shapes of some description, the billboards look drastically different. And I don't know how mature Spotify is within the Colombia market. But for me, I never want to overlook the basics. The first thing that sort of came to my mind was, if I'm driving along a highway and I see a billboard with a lot of writing on it, that's a very low dwell time execution. And therefore, am I even going to know that that's from Spotify or what it is or what it's doing? But in terms of kind of creativity and the insight and the thought behind the idea, I thought it was pretty good. If you're trying to build memory structures with consumers, in a scaling market, you want to make sure that when they do see an ad from you, they at least know it is from you.
The power of this campaign is not on putting pillows on the hotel that it will arrive. The power of this campaign is actually contacting the handle of Fatboy Slim and making him answer, yes, I will put this song on the playlist. That's the powerful and viral element of the campaign, because that will expand everywhere. The other elements, for me, are a little bit fakey. And if it were my team, I would say, don't put money there, please. Don't put it. Don't buy pillows.
What can the industry be learning from this?
As a brand and as a company with a strong insight, you don't need to be spending a lot of money on sponsorship rights for pure credibility. If you truly have a strong insight and credibility and it ties to your brand, you can create something very special that hopefully, with the correct execution, can have virality, and you can have a big sort of, earned media led campaign that can go wild. Ultimately, I think this shows great potential for the fact that you would be able to do that. And I think, much more kind of broadly, going earned first and trying to do something where you are leveraging what you have that's core to your platform and leading with an earned first campaign. Let's try and create something shareable where consumers really are going to amplify this for us and not put a lot of money against it. It's a very good litmus test for how strong your insight is, and therefore how strong your core creative idea that overlays on that is. And ultimately, therefore, whether this is taken off or not will be the true test.
There's another angle that is very interesting that we need to give credit to the team. They created a format that is replicable and scalable globally. That's creating value for Spotify also. So they can do this in every single concert in every country in the world, and it will work. As any new idea, maybe we can like or not like this first version, but once it's replicated in Europe, in Australia, in US, I would bet that the fourth version of this idea will be incredible. So we as leaders, we need to allow the teams to experiment a little bit and evolve these ideas. And I put a +1 whenever I see an idea that is scalable and replicable very easily.
So to finish off the show, would you have signed off this campaign in its current execution? Thumbs up or thumbs down? So Pablo, Henry, thank you so much for your time.